Okay, this is an interesting one. Really small version this time. Let's see if we can make this look really nice. Okay. Going 300 both ways. All right, let's see what this is. It is a miniature doll. It's a doll, a miniature one, a very small, tiny little, dainty little thing. I never liked dolls as a kid. I only use them now in my demos, but I'm still not a fan of them, folks. They're still not my thing. But they can make very good models on the photocopier. Fuck, I didn't want to do that. Now it's starting. It says number of originals, number of copies. It's really silly. Fucked up. But it's still printing. I have to just get rid of that in there. But she looks a bit dark and her feet are being cut off. Maybe we can move her up, and we're just going to kill that. Now we're just going to move her up to the edge. I think she's pretty well almost in the middle of the page. So I'll just move her across. Gonna lighten this one. Maybe lighten it further. So we're just going to use that as well. But I was never a fan of dolls as a kid. I was fascinated by a doll that was really big. That was fascinating because of the size, but I still wasn't a fan of it because dolls just weren't my thing. Now I've moved it too far up, I think, but they just weren't my thing. They just wondering which way I have to move her. Move her maybe up and across. But basically I just hated dolls, and I was a tomboy, and that's why I hated dolls, because I was a tomboy. I used to love things like trucks. I never owned any trucks, but I had a bus and I had some Matchbox cars as well. So my parents did sometimes buy me a Matchbox car, but most of the time they tried to get me to play with dolls, and I just couldn't move with that. It just wasn't my thing. I would be classified perhaps as a gender non-conforming person, because I still am a tomboy, folks. I'm still a tomboy. I still like things that are masculine, like the job I wanted to do before I found out that my disability was too much of a problem was I wanted to be a photocopier technician. I loved photocopiers, and I was fascinated by their inner workings and the technical aspect of it. And I wanted to be a technician. That was my dream career, was to be a photocopier technician. I can't do that now, but one day I'd like to do something big, and when they have technology to fix the brain damage that I acquired at birth, I want to become a CEO of a future photocopier company and build photocopiers that are sustainable to this planet, and have factories where people are treated with respect and get paid a good wage, instead of this lame brain shit where people don't get paid enough money for their services rendered, and basically they get treated like shit, like slaves. And I can't have that. And I want my factory to be on Australian turf. I want it to be made in Australia, designed in Australia, manufactured in Australia. No foreign input. The only thing foreign I want in this photocopier would be the materials, because we want to build this photocopier in an environmentally sustainable manner, and that means to use materials from rubbish tips around the world, like electronic waste tips, like in India and China, where e-waste is rotting away. And there's lots of minerals and metals and other shit that you can get from this waste. Instead of letting it pollute and make people sick, why not use it as a resource to build future equipments? To build equipment that, the machine that I'm proposing has to be suitable to be torn apart at the end of its useful life. And incidentally, the end of its useful life has to be a long life. It has to be, the photocopier should be in commission for 60 years before it is taken apart and recycled. I believe that that this is the only way to curb our waste, is to make sure the equipment we make is serviceable for decades to come. Not 5 years, not even 10 years. 60 years is what I've decided it's going to be. 60 years. And also, not only do I want to be a CEO, but I want to take the money that I earn and create scientific discoveries. And I want to be a scientist myself. I want to also be a scientist, a part-time scientist. So I do, my day consists mainly of working as a CEO, but away from the CEO's chair, I want to be a scientist. And one of the things I'd like to grapple with is climate change. I want to make climate change a thing of the past, because we're not going to stop these rich people now from polluting. It's going to keep going and going and going. So it's going to get hotter and hotter and hotter. And there's no one out there who's able to, at this stage, to stop this progress. So the only way we can stop it is we've got to find a cure. We can't prevent it, because this prevention would rely on rich people like the CEOs of the electronics industry, such as the photocopier industry in particular. They'd have to stop polluting, and they won't, because they love money. They love to waste money. They used to love to use money and then be greedy little pigs, and they don't care about our planet or the human race. So we're almost past the point of no return. We can't stop it. So we have to fucking well find a solution to the problem rather than trying to prevent it, because there's just no way these rich fools are going to stop. They'll destroy our planet, and we have to fucking find a way of repairing it. So I've put it on my shoulders to fix this problem. I've put this problem on my shoulders, folks, along with the manufacturing of photocopiers that are designed to be future proof, so to speak, but nothing's perfect. This photocopier may be close, whatever. I'm a perfectionist, folks, but I got to acknowledge this photocopier isn't going to be perfect. I've aimed my goal to be near perfect, so I've given myself a challenge that this future photocopier will be 98% out of 100. If it were an industrial arts school project, it will be 98 out of 100 is what I'm aiming for. It's close, it's very close to what would be classified as perfect, but that's how I want it to be. I want to make my equipment as good as it can get without being totally perfect. But the industry as it stands comes far from perfect. It's not even acceptable. It's below acceptable. I think that today's photocopiers like this one would probably get 2% out of 100. The total opposite to what I envisage my future design to be. But the thing is, the reason why I'm so wanting to do this stuff is because I love photocopiers, folks. And that's my dream. I love photocopiers, so I want to do it right. But people like the CEO of Konica Minolta, which is where this machine is made once again, Konica Minolta, they don't care. So they make all this plastic, and that's another thing. Our new photocopier design is going to use much less plastic than this piece of shit. So we're just going to make these equipments environmentally friendly, attractive, easy to use. It's going to have artificial intelligence driving it. There's just so much that needs to change in this world and in this equipment, or starting with the equipment, and then the world has got to change. But I want to make a difference, folks. And not only is it about science and technology, I'm also interested in humanitarian causes. Yes, I've mentioned the factory being sustainable in a working sense. You know how much that people are worth. Pay the people more than what they're worth instead of treating them like slaves. But just generally giving to humanitarian causes, like trying to get as close as I can to ending homelessness. So I'll be donating a lot of money to humanitarian causes as well. So there's a lot of things I want to do, folks. And you got to be passionate about what you do, or you're just going to be another money-fucking, environmentally unfriendly fool. Anyway, that looks really interesting, but I think that was my 2 cents for the day. Gotta go.